Okay, so welcome everyone to the Globe International Virtual Science Symposium informational webinar for the 2021 IVSS. This webinar is just going to go over the basics of the IVSS, how to enter, what to submit, and some new things for this year. So if you have any questions, please just post them in the chat, and I'll keep an eye on those as well as my colleagues with me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and thank you for joining. My name is Amy Barfield, and I am a I work at the Globe Implementation Office in Boulder, Colorado, and I am on the Education Outreach team. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Sarah Parsons, who I'll let her introduce herself.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah, and I also work with Amy on the Education and Outreach team at the Globe Implementation Office, and we work closely together on the IVSS each year.
Thank you, Sarah. So first of all, what is the IVSS? So the IVSS is an online space for students to share and discuss Globe research with other students, STEM professionals, and the Globe community. We're open to all Globe students from kindergarten through grade 16, that's in undergrads. And we have specific rubrics for each grade level so that everyone is being scored more fairly based on their age and education level. And we'll talk more about the rubrics later. And this is our 8th year. The 2021 will be our 8th year doing this. So we're well on our way, and we're loving doing it. So last year was our biggest year yet. It was really exciting for us. We had 268 projects from all 6 Globe regions. We had a bunch of 4-star and 2+ badge projects, and we also had a bunch of new countries join us. We also had, it was also our biggest year for judges. So we were able to get 135 judges from 42 countries. And this was really great because we had opened it up to different languages, and we were able to get a bunch of judges from all over the world who were able to speak all these different languages to help us score projects. And just a quote from a GISN scientist who participated scoring the projects in the IVSS a few years ago really demonstrates what judges get out of this as well. And so they said, "Thank you for the opportunity to score the student research. These students give me hope for our future." So I'm going to go over the timeline just quickly. So right now it is 7 October, and this is our informational webinar. And we've got a couple of other webinars coming up this month, and we'll discuss these more a little bit later. But the first one is next week, and that is going to be a Globe Data Science intro and question and answer with Ksenia Lepikina, and she works at the GIO. And then we have on 28 October, mapping your Globe data with Esri ArcGIS, and that'll be with Emma Hagen, who is also a GIO person, and Desiree Wilson, who works with NASA. So those are our upcoming webinars. In January, we'll start accepting projects, and they'll be due on March 10th. And so on March 10th, we'll make sure that the reports are submitted. So if you are a teacher or a student, make sure you have your projects in by then, or else they will not be scored. On 29 March, we will have our judging webinar. So this will be a broad informational webinar for judges. After that, through April 5th is our judging period. So we'll, all of our judges will be reviewing the projects and assigning them scores. And on Earth Day, April 22nd, we'll post the badges on school pages and send feedback to teachers, as well as we'll do our live drawing for stipends. So first up, I'm going to discuss how to enter. So the first thing you need to submit is an abstract, a research report, a little narrative on how you earned each additional badge, a presentation, and a photo release if you include any photos of yourself. And we of course encourage photos of students doing their data collection or working together. So we love having those photos. We just want to make sure that you sign those photo releases. So first up, I'm just going to go over how to enter. So when you are uploading your research report, what you'll want to do is go to the IVSS page. It's globe.gov/science-symposium, and we'll post that website a bunch of times throughout this webinar, but it's always a good one to have bookmarked. And you'll see this blue upload your research report tool. So when you click on that, a little screen will pop up. Oh, and thank you, Sarah, for posting that there. And we want to just make sure that you are selecting International Virtual Science Symposium Report. And that way, we are making sure to get all of the entries for the IVSS. Next up, it's going to ask you some additional questions. So like I said, you'll want to make sure to select that IVSS report. You will look up your school. This will be teachers looking up their school. And once they select their school or organization, the Globe teachers will be listed. So that's a little bit easier to find yourself. And make sure to also include teachers to include your emails. Very important, we need your emails to communicate with you. Then you'll want to list all of the students who worked on the project and any additional contributors. And so that could be STEM professionals you worked with, or community members, or other students from other schools that you worked with. And then the grade level. And this is important so that we know how to score you using which rubrics. Then you'll want to include a report title, a quick description of your report, and an abstract or summary. So this will be already included in the report, so you'll just copy and paste the abstract right in there. And then you'll want to select the protocols that you used. So if you were collecting cloud data, for example, you'll want to select atmosphere and then select clouds. And that way it's a little easier for us to sort the projects and look them up. And then you'll submit your research report and a thumbnail image, and we love to see some nice images for those. Select which report is the language the report is limited in, or written in, I'm sorry. And this doesn't include all of the languages. I just wanted to fit this all on one screen. But as a reminder, we accept reports in English, Spanish, French, Arabic, and Croatian, and we'll discuss that more later. And then you'll want to select which optional badges, additional badges are included that the students have earned. And then you'll upload your presentation. So that might be a video URL or a poster presentation. And then the photo releases that I mentioned earlier. And then you'll submit your report. And as soon as you submit your report, you'll get an email in your inbox telling you that you have submitted your report. So that's a good way to make sure you know that you've submitted your report. Last year, we allowed people to edit their reports, and this was really helpful. So if you upload the report and realize, oh no, I made a mistake, you've got a few days to edit your report. And you just find that button right under the Upload Your Research Report tool. But keep in mind the time is limited. So you'll want to do that really quickly right after you, or within a couple of days after you've submitted your report. And what's really helpful about this, and we encourage you to edit your report so that we don't get duplicates. And that is really important to us because sometimes we'll get duplicates and they can be a little bit hard to catch. So if you do miss that edit your report window and you resubmit a project, feel free to email us and let us know so that we can keep an eye out for those. So why do students do the IVSS? Well, in addition to being a really great way to practice science skills and work with STEM professionals, there's also a little incentive. So we have a drawing. And so for the students who've earned a maximum score of 4 stars, and have selected at least 2 additional badges will be entered into a drawing on Earth Day. And we'll do a selection, and those projects that are drawn will receive stipends and will be invited to the 2021 Globe Annual Meeting Student Experience. And if you're looking for some inspiration, these are the drawing winners last year, and you can find them on the 2020 IVSS page. And so these are really great projects that have earned that top score. And so if you're looking to see what we look for in a report, feel free to go and look at these projects because these were really well done. So next I'm going to go through a little bit of the website tour just to familiarize you with the website. So as Sarah posted in the chat, and as you can see right here, we've got our URL, the globe.gov/science-symposium, and it'll bring you to the 2021 Globe IVSS page. So this is our landing page. It gives you a little bit of information about the IVSS. And you can see for this year, we'll be focusing on data analysis, and we'll talk about that more a little bit later. Next up, we have instructions. So this is going to be very important for the teachers and the students to look at. And this is all of our instructions for submitting your report, what is required, a little bit description about each of these elements that are required. And also I want you to take a notice that we have translations in Spanish and Arabic. Next up is the rubrics, and we have new rubrics this year. And Sarah's going to talk about that a little bit later, but this is going to be a way to see how to score the projects, or when students are writing the projects, to look at what we will be looking for. And we also have tips for providing IVSS student feedback. So this is for judges, but it might be helpful for students and teachers to look at as well, just to think about these different things that judges are looking for in reports. Next up is our virtual badges. So all students will get a participation badge, but they may select up to 3 additional badges. And these are different science skills, and we'll talk about those later, but a description of those badges are on that badges page. And probably our best resource here is our IVSS resources page. So in addition to having all of the links to the previous years, where I mentioned you can see previous projects, we have a ton of resources about writing your reports, and we have templates for reports and templates for posters and previous webinars that are helpful. So definitely look through those resources. Students, teachers, judges, everyone, these are really great resources. And so here's an example of a resource that we posted, and this is a poster template that students are encouraged to use, although they don't have to use this. But this is just an interesting looking poster. And then we've got our frequently asked questions. So this is a very important page. We get a lot of questions, and we've tried to sort of write down some of the ones we get a lot. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to email us, and we'll put up that email a few times throughout this, but check the FAQs page first, because maybe your question will be answered there. And finally, we've got our volunteer to judge page. So this is for all of our potential judges out there. This is a little bit of information about what we look for in judges, and then the sign up form to judge. And this is a really quick form and easy to fill out. And even if you're not sure about your ability to judge right now, I encourage you to sign up, and you can back out later if things change. But it's better to get your name in there now, just so we know and can start preparing. And finally, we've got a one-pager for judges. So this is great for judges to look at, just to sort of see once again what we're looking for. But if you as a teacher or as a Globe community member might know of anybody who would be interested in participating as a judge, we have this one pager. It's on the website for you to download, and we would definitely encourage you to please share this with anybody you know that might be interested. And now I'm gonna toss this over to Sarah.
All right, hi everyone, thanks Amy. Yeah, so looking here, I'll start talking about our IVSS rubrics and a little bit about how they've changed. So we updated our rubrics for this year moving forward based on feedback from the community and integrated some of those comments and thoughts into our new rubrics. So we still have the 4-star system, and we were noticing that it was a little confusing for judges to understand the big difference between a 3-star and a 4-star project. So I'll just talk about that a little bit. With the 3-star projects, those projects are really great. They contain all the elements that we're looking for and are definitely considered good projects. However, to receive a 4-star project, what we're really looking for are projects that go a little above and beyond what's expected. So that might look something like an exceptional dive into their local community and helping someone locally, or extensive collaboration with STEM professionals in the field, or anything that really stands out to you as being like, wow, above and beyond what the expectations were for this project. And then next slide, please, Amy. I'm going through the elements for each level or grade band. Here we have the high school and upper level to undergrad project elements. And I'll say that they're pretty similar. However, there's a few added features for the upper grades. And so what you'll see here is in bold are the basic or baseline elements for the project that are required for students when they submit their reports. And I'll just go over this one, but then you can look at them a little more closely on our website. So we have the slides here, but we won't spend too much time on each one. So what's required for each project is, of course, a title to tell us what you're talking about and to identify your project, as well as a abstract or summary of your research and your research questions, as well as your research methods and a conclusion. So those are the basic baseline requirements. And then for the upper grades, you see all those other requirements as well. And then next slide, please, Amy. Just do a quick so you can see what's required. Yeah, but we won't stop on any of these. Again, you can look at all those on our website. And the most important thing too is that students who submit projects also include Globe data in their research. It's okay if students want to include other data sets as well, but we want to make sure they're getting in that Globe data. If they don't submit Globe data with their Globe research report, then oftentimes they don't get scored by scientists in the field. All right, so looking at our merit-based badge system, our badges look like what you see at the top right there. They're virtual badges that students can earn by submitting their reports. And all students who submit projects with the IVSS will receive a similar badge to the one you see there. It's a student research badge, as well as a 0 to 4-star rating on their project, which would be another badge. And there's no limit to projects that can earn a top ranking. Looking at our additional badges, so this is what students want to focus on if they are looking to enter the drawing to attend our virtual annual meeting and the student experience coming up next year. Students are required to choose at least 2 additional badges and describe how each badge was earned in their report. So oftentimes we see students selecting these but not describing how they earn the badges, and that's the really key component here. So minimum of 2 required to be part of the drawing. Next slide, please. Thank you. And then here's some descriptions of our badges and what they do. I'll just kind of go over a quick description of each, but you can find more information about these on our website again. So the first one is make an impact, and this badge is given for reports that clearly describe how a local issue led to research questions or how they made connections between local issues and global impacts. And our Be a STEM Professional badge is earned when students clearly worked with a STEM professional in their field. The STEM Storyteller badge shows how the students shared their research in some sort of creative way. It could be storytelling or something similar. Next slide, please. Our Be a Collaborator badge is when the team or students clearly collaborated with other students in their school or professionals or students at other schools, and that's described in their report. And then because we're focusing on data science and data analysis this year, we expect to see a lot of Be a Data Scientist badges. This report or this badge is given for reports that include an in-depth analysis of students' own data as well as other data sources. And our Be an Engineer badge is given for clear demonstrations of using engineering skills, maybe creating or building something, and something within the world of engineering. Next slide, please. So like I mentioned briefly before, this year we're going to focus on data science and data analysis. This is partly because we thought it'd be really fun to dive a little deeper into data analysis for our students, but also because it's helpful with current COVID guidelines. So we're asking students to please, and teachers and schools to please be mindful of your local guidelines around COVID. We're not requiring any new data collection. You're welcome to use old data as well. So please just follow whatever the local guidelines are in your area and stay safe out there. Next slide, please. So another component that we asked for in submitting IVSS reports outside of the research report itself is a presentation of some kind. So here's some examples of what that can look like. Sometimes students submit a digital poster or a PowerPoint, or they create a video or create a story map. So the options are open to you, what you would like to create. Next slide, please. Here's an example of what a typical poster could look like. We have on the left the title and authors, and then a brief introduction, methods, results, discussion, etc. And this is a really great example. And we also on our IVSS website have a resources page with lots of poster templates and examples, which I think are coming up here next. Next slide, please. Okay, maybe we'll come back to them later. I think Amy showed a few earlier as well. So something that we added last year was we excitingly are able to now accept projects outside of just the English language. So we're able to accept projects in English, Spanish, French, Arabic, and Croatian because we have so many judges from those language groups, which is really exciting. And hopefully in the future we can include more languages, but that's what we're able to do for now based on our volunteer base. And as many judges that we have that speak more languages is what allows us to do this. So if you know anyone who'd be interested in judging for the IVSS or ways that we can include more languages, we'd love to hear from you. So please reach out to us. And we ask that if you are submitting a project in a language other than English, that you please also include an English translation in the same report document. This makes it much easier for us that because we don't speak all those languages in the GIO office. So if you can include the English translation, it's really helpful for us to organize and categorize the reports. Next slide, please. So new this year, we're doing, like we said, the data science focus. We're really excited to see what that brings. And to support our GLOBE students and teachers, we have a few webinars coming up focused on data science, as Amy was mentioning earlier. So Coming up both in October, we have a data science introductory webinar with a Q&A with Ksenia, where you can ask all the questions you need regarding data science for your projects, as well as mapping with ArcGIS and Emma a little later this month. We've also updated our rubrics for each grade level. And we developed a really helpful resource last year that we saw a lot of use from, which is a judging guide that helps judges give feedback to students while they're judging the reports. So if you plan on judging and you need a little more support with how to judge or what we're looking for, check out our tips for student feedback. It'll be up on the judging page, and there's links to it as well on our resources page. And we're also launching a Globe student blog, which I'll talk about shortly. Next slide, please. So our Globe student blog, what is it exactly? So the blog is a place for Globe student alumni to share about their learning journeys through the IVSS or SRS. And we decided we wanted to create something like this because we would really love to hear from Globe students more. We feel that students can be their best allies and support in what they've been through with the IVSS process. So we're hoping to receive blog submissions from students to post online to help each other with this process. So if you go to Do Globe, there you can see on the menu bar in that screenshot on the slide, you're going to go to the menu bar and select or hover over Do Globe, and then Research and Resources. And under there you can find student resources, and that's where you'll see the student blog listed on the index on the left. Next slide, please. So again, we would really love to hear from your students about what they learned during their experience with the IVSS. And here in purple are some things specifically that we would love to hear from them. And this is also listed up on the Student Blog Globe website. So we would love to see thoughts from IVSS student alumni on how they learned from a mistake during the IVSS process. We think that learning from our mistakes is a big part of learning. And we would also love to hear about something that they would have done differently and why, or any specific meaningful experiences that came from their IVSS research process. Next slide, please. So now we have listed a few commonly asked questions that we hear from our community a lot. So we'll just go through and answer those for you now. We also have an extensive FAQ page that we encourage you to check out on the IVSS website as well. First question is, my students have never participated in a science fair or symposium before. Can they take part? Yes, we have a lot of resources available for new students. So please join us. We're always open to welcoming new students. Who can judge projects? We put a minimum of 1 STEM professional in each project, so we're looking for STEM professionals. That is helpful. However, you do not have to be a STEM professional to judge projects. You can be already a member of the Globe community, or you don't have to be a member of the Globe community. It can really be anyone. Next slide, please. Do my students have to write their reports in English? So we will be accepting projects in English, Spanish, French, Arabic, and Croatian this year. But again, we ask you to please include an English translation in the same document with your report if you are choosing to submit it in a different language than English. And how do I know if my report has been uploaded? When you upload your IVSS report, you will receive an email confirming that your report has been uploaded. If you do not see this email, please email us and let us know at globeivss@ucar.edu. Next slide, please. So this one comes up a lot. We see that students, teachers and those who are trying to enter projects often have issues with their Globe account, maybe because they haven't used them in a few years or whatever the reason. So who do I contact if I'm having technical issues or issues with my globe.gov account? please contact globehelp@ucar.edu for any technical related issues with the website. Otherwise, any IVSS report questions can be directly sent to us at globeivss@ucar.edu. And we have a lot more questions on our FAQ page. These are just some of the more commonly asked ones. So please check those out to help you in the report process. Next slide, please. So again, our URL is www.globe.gov/science-symposium. Another way you can get there is by going to our website and selecting news and events from the top menu bar, and then that'll come down and you can select or hover over meetings and symposia, and then virtual science symposia, and there'll be a list of all the years there and you can select which one you're looking for. Next slide, please. So here's our timeline again, just some reminders. So right now you are watching the IVSS General Informational Webinar. And next week we'll have that Globe Data Science Intro webinar and Q&A with Cassidia Lapicna. And then on the 28th of October, we will have Mapping Your Globe Data with Esri and ArcGIS with Emma Hagen. We're really looking forward to those, and we encourage everyone to attend. Then reports will begin being accepted in January of 2021, and they'll be due the 10th of March. So again, reports will be due the 10th of March, and if they're not submitted by that day, then they will unfortunately not be scored. The judging informational webinar for judges to learn more about the judging process will be on the 29th of March, 2021. And the period of judging, it takes place over a week. It'll be from the 29th of March to the 5th of April. Students and teachers will receive their feedback on their projects on the 22nd of April. We do this every year. It's Earth Day, Globe anniversary. And the live drawing for stipends will also take place on the 22nd of April. For our upcoming data science Q&A webinar, we would love to get some questions from you ahead of time. So you could either submit your questions at this Google form link that's pasted now in the chat, or you can bring them with you to the webinar. But either way, we would love to see you there and love to hear your questions. And that will be on the 14th of October at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining us here for the IVSS informational webinar. Again, if you need any more information, please email us at globeivss@ucar.edu or go to our website at globe.gov/science-symposium.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you everyone for joining us. I see you've had a lot of activity in the chat. If there's any additional questions, please type them in the chat now and we'll get those answered. For now, I'm going to stop the recording and we'll post it on the website later today.